Alright, what's going on guys? Drew here from TechCubed, and in this video, we're going to get started with animation in Blender. So far, all we've done in Blender is modeling, a little bit of moving some stuff around, but nothing that actually shows an animation, a movie, the stuff that you probably were expecting to do when downloading Blender. So now, once you have your design, your model made, you can actually get started in moving it around with some of the basics of scaling, rotation, and just moving stuff around in general. So let's get started with that. We can actually see with our default cube right here that there's plenty of stuff we can actually do with it. So here's our timeline. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of keyframes, about 250. We could actually have more if we want. You could drag this up like this, so you can see it a little better. And you can zoom in and out just by scrolling. And if you press and hold the center mouse wheel, you will be able to see how to move around. Alright, so what we could do is, let's say, put it on frame 1, and then go to our cube, and move it like normal to anywhere you want to start. So if you want to start it here, and you have several ways to do this. The first way is to push I, and then you have all these options of inserting a keyframe. So there's many ways to do this, several different ones you could choose, but actually I prefer just to use auto. So to turn on auto, you could just right click or move away, go down here and click this red record button. So now it's going to record anything you do when you move, scale, or rotate. So if we were to grab this somewhere, you could see real quick this turned yellow from the green that it was before, actually a little orange. So now if we move to a different frame, let's say 20, and then grab this again, you can see another one turned orange. So you can actually move between now, and you can see how the box moves. So awesome! Now we actually have an animation. And you can play this through either by dragging, left clicking like that, or you can actually hit play right here. And if you don't want all these extra frames, which we don't need, you could stop it and change our end frame right here. So we're starting at 1, ending at 250. You can drag this back, or you can manually click, let's say 50. And you can play this, and it's going to automatically loop around. Alright, so now next, why don't we do scaling or rotation? You can hit escape to stop or pause right here. So let's say right in the middle, we want to rotate. And how about over here, we scale? Or we could go to the bottom, we could go to the start and scale it from there, and now we can play this. Another way to play is Alt-A. I will turn on display so you can see better. So escape to stop, Alt-A to start, and now you can see what happens. Awesome. So that's actually a pretty cool animation. So now, there's a few other things that we should go over here, for instance, deleting a keyframe. So let's say you mess up and you run out of undos, you have to delete a keyframe. As you can see, you can't just X and delete, nothing's going to happen. So, what you got to do is go right here to this blank rectangle, click on it, and you have all these options, select location, rotation, scale. So what this is going to do is, when we hit the special key to delete, it's going to remove all location, rotation, and scale from that keyframe. So if we want to delete this last scale, you have to make sure that our current frame is over 25. You hit this key standing for keyframe with the red line through it, and all of a sudden the color goes away. It's not going to do it anymore. Awesome. But let's say we just wanted to remove rotation, or just wanted to remove scale or location. All you have to do is select the special one there, and that's all it will remove. So that works great, works every time, just the way you want it. So now a few other things to go over after the basics of moving stuff around. We can actually also animate colors or values, all the stuff here in the properties panel. So let's say we were to make a color. So it already has a color on it, so I'll just start it off maybe a blue, and we'll go to the start. Now this automatically won't record because we often change things, so it doesn't want to automatically record it. But remember, when we pushed I in the beginning, you can push I again, and all of a sudden that turned orange, and now it's a keyframe. So if we go to the end and change its color, since we have record on, it will automatically record it now that we pushed I and told it to start tracking. So as you can see, it goes from blue to purple, then to red. Awesome. Now I actually do remember in older versions of Blender, it wouldn't show you until the actual rendering. But you should be fine for now. If you have 2.76b, I don't know when they updated it, it should work great. You can hit Alt-A to play it. You could adjust many other things, from modifiers to physics properties, which we haven't gone over, even textures, I believe. So that's the basis for that. So now you're thinking, how can you actually manipulate the object itself other than moving it in space? And that's where armatures come in. Now that's kind of a bigger subject isn't too useful in a simple cube example. So I'll go to new layer 2 just to show you a simple example. If you're not familiar with layers, all you do is push 1, 2, 3, any number on the top of your keyboard, or you can push these right here. So everything was on layer 1, we'll go to layer 2. And I'm going to add a sphere. And it's not centered, but that's fine. And now let's hit Shift A. And now this is the first time we're going to leave the mesh add. We're going to go to armature, select single bone, and there we go. You won't be able to see it. You may see a little dot. If you hit Z to go to wireframe mode, you'll see the bone in the middle. We could change the way this looks to make it look more like a bone if you like that. So the properties panel changed a whole bunch, and we can change the way it looks if you'd like. It's not that big of a deal. So we can change the way it looks by going to the armature settings, the object data, and you can make it a stick, a square, kind of looks like that. I'll just leave it like this. So kind of just a basis getting started. I'm going to grab this down, tab into edit mode, extrude across the Z. So now you can see it made 2. And if you're having issues seeing this and don't want to look in wireframe, you can go back here, hit X-ray. You won't see anything in wireframe, but now you can see through it. So awesome. Now we can tab out of edit mode. This is just kind of a basic example. We could select the sphere and then select the bones, but you have to shift select it so it selects both of them. And now you have that, you can do Control P, and you have a few options here. Control P stands for parenting. So what is parent? It means that when you move one thing, the other is going to move as well because it's parented to it. It's going to be a child. So we want our sphere to move the way that the bones are moving. So we could just do object, but then when we move the whole armature, the sphere moves. We want it to change when just one bone moves. For instance, we could do with automatic weights. Set parent to with automatic weights. Click that. Now you're not going to see anything happen, but if we select our armature and then go change object mode to pose mode, there is no, you can still use tab to go in and out of edit mode, but there is none for pose mode. So when you hit a bone now, you can see it turns blue instead of our usual orange. And if you rotate it, you can see how it kind of deforms the shape. So obviously a sphere isn't ideal for these two bones, but you can see how it kind of bends over on itself, and you can rotate both. You could scale it up, and you can see how it only affects a few in a certain way, and you can make interesting shapes with this. So you can imagine if you had an object shaped like a person or an object, and then you add these bones, you can move them around and mess with the vertices to look like that. And so this is the basis of animation. You have all the same tools that we had before with the cube, where as you can see, since I had automatic on, it actually saved what we just did. So I'll go forward a bit and just change it a little bit. Automatically add, and you can see in between it automatically adds keyframes in and makes a cute little animation. So that's the basis for this, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll go more in depth with the bone tool once we get more complex figures in the future. But for now, this is a great way to get started. You can play around with possibly modifiers because we have all these bone modifiers and constraints right here if you're familiar with those. So go ahead, have fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.